doctor with me. He will tell us the importance of water. And last week I got choked up. Somebody from the US sent me a memo that next time I should put water. So I'm trying to prevent what happened last week. So doctor, permit me to
That's
take
a very
water.
good advice. Go ahead. Water is life.
Yes.
Yes.
Dr. Jude Ohanele,
Listen.
the nation is agog to choose who becomes the president. Let's start this way. About 1,001 persons are vying to become Nigerian #1 president come 2023. With what we've seen in APC and PDP, are we getting closer to the promised land?
Well, it's it's a very healthy development that so many people want to rule the country or govern the country. That's a good one because democracy entails that people should aspire. And every citizen that is qualified has a right to run. So to the extent that so many people are showing interest, that's also to the extent that we should all be happy that we have enough people who want to govern us. But then to the extent that the parties are also charging the amount of money they are charging for those aspirations is actually the bad part of it. You have these parties charging so much to express interest and to buy the nomination form.
Yes, APC calls it 100 million and PDP is 45 million to 50 million.
Basically.
And EFCC just came up this morning to say they've written the banks and the INEC to give them a back account of the aspirants. And remembering that about a few days ago the president signed into law of money laundering. Does that make any meaning? Because when you look at it, the presidency, anybody as the president, his salary per annum is about 54 million and is buying from at 100 million, not talking about the settlement of delegates, not talking about campaign. So in the area of our politics, especially presidential, are we introducing corruption or we are doing things to eliminate it?
Yeah, actually, these very high nomination fees would definitely worsen the corruption situation in the country. Because this is actually what leads to state capture, really. When people spend so much to get into political offices, then they try to convert those offices to investments. And then they begin to work out ways to get out the money they spent, which is really the root of all the whole corruption thing you see all over the country. And to the extent that we understand that we need to reduce those nomination form fees, the better for all of us, because we cannot keep it this level that it is increasing with. It's very unsustainable. You saw what they did in 2019. They moved all up again in 2000. It moved up in 2015. It moved up again now in this 2023 election. So it tells you that there is this 2015, 2019, and then 2023 now. It shows you that there is a gradual consistency in excluding the normal people from the electoral process. Because very normal people who have very reasonable, modest income cannot afford that kind of money. And so what it means is that upfront you are eliminating a good chunk of the people, especially those who even have the mental stability and capacity to govern this country, to help this country. When you remove them, then you are going to have a situation where only those who have the mental problem of stealing, who have stolen so much out of mental challenge, because it's only a very mentally unsound man that steals public fund with impunity, which is what we're seeing. So when you make these nomination forms so expensive, you are keeping away the sound people whose brain are working normally, and you are keeping the space exclusively for the criminally minded element who have some mental problem, really, because there's always a mental background to those levels of primitive acquisition of wealth. So that is where we are gravitating to, and Nigeria is not going to move an inch in that direction. So that has to be reviewed. The political parties must pull back and understand that you don't raise party money through this extortionist approach. So, and this is really a very bad one, because immediately you mess up campaign finance. Immediately people spend more money than is necessary in a political campaign. You have opened the window for them to mess up the economy when they get into office.
Okay, that's good on that. Let's look at the state presidential issue. The issue of zoning. PDP has been stingy in stating whether there will be zoning or not. But as of a few days ago, they came out to say it is now an open ticket to every Nigerian, irrespective of your ethnic inclination or whatever, they can contest. And like the Ohanele man came up in the paper to say today that it will be an injustice if they did not zone, if PDP did not zone to the southeast. And the APC right from time said to the south, but people like Lawan, the body language now seems that they want to kind of throw it open because the Senate president has picked a form. They are forcing Jude Ohanele, or Jude Ohanele decided to throw his towel and say embrace his own support. So the southeast agitation and the open ticket thing, any relationship?
Well, in politics, it's a game of interests, and you continue to canvass your interests, and you continue to insist on it. Now, the Southeast has a right to ask that they be given the ticket in the parties. The parties also have the final say on that. So the idea is that individuals are going to be elected president, and I'm happy that the Southeast has some candidates who are running within those parties. So even when they say it's open, those Southeast candidates are also among those that will run in those parties. And luckily, even some of the people from the Southeast are some of the best in terms of credentials and in terms of performance. So the idea is for people to continue to canvass their interests. The parties can reverse themselves. And if they don't, they should go into the race. What is important really is that Nigeria needs a president that has something in his head, who is humble enough and simple enough, who has some experience with governance and has shown results in the past, so that we don't continue to gamble with this gangsterism that has been the order of our politics. So my hope is that the political parties at the end of the day will make the best decisions, and let the parties bring candidates that would either way provide Nigeria with good governance.
Okay, let me look at this one. It's a trivial one, but important. It occupies a major space. The former president of Nigeria, Goodluck Jonathan, all the while there has been this speculation that he wants to join APC, he wants to run and at the last end, at the dying minute, a certain group, a religious they called Mieti Allah and some other whatever group, bought a form for him, and he was quoted to have said that they did not consult him, he was not aware of it. And another permutation story had it about within the week that has registered in his ward as an APC person, which may qualify him to be part of the party processes. Looking at the situation of our politics, that this was a man who people say, quote unquote, humiliated out in terms of say he did this, his father of corruption, he squandered the PDP and so. And now, if it is true that the APC is giving him an olive branch, what do you say about it? Because we're discussing him in person because he is a news person, a newsworthy person, because as a former president of Federal Republic of Nigeria, every of his actions are for the public domain.
Yeah, former President Goodluck Jonathan is a Nigerian citizen that has the right to aspire to run for office and in any political party of his choice. So I think we need to understand that he has that right. Of course, the politics was played in 2015 and he was defeated in the election roundly and he left because also before 2015 we were all here and saw the level of poor governance in the country and all that. So if in 2022 they are finding him relevant again, it also tells you how retrogressive the country has been. But he has the right to run, and my only advice to Nigerians is to make sure they vote for people who have the capacity to govern this country. And I'm not so bothered about all of this grandstanding because at the end of the day, we've seen a lot of grandstanding in this country and we've not seen results. So I don't see any reason why his running should be a big issue because there's nothing really to look back to. In my own sense, we need to look forward and we need to look for those who have the capacity to govern this country. And we have a few young men in the race at the moment that Nigerians should look at. But how that pans out depends on the temperament of Nigerians.
Okay, sir. We look at the issue of the National Assembly just about a few days realized that there is an anomaly in the electoral act that had been signed into law by the president. The area where statutory delegates could have been differentiated from participating in their party primaries. And people are saying that, does it mean that this National Assembly persons, the senators, House of Rep members, are not intelligent or are not due process enough to have read in between the lines for the number of months the civil society organization took it upon themselves to persuade Mr. President to sign that thing into law, and the Mr. President rejected, sent back, and they say corrected? People are saying that they are not intelligent enough to have seen that even they themselves were affected by a section of the electoral act. So what does that portend from the kind of leaders who have and those who are chunking our laws, that you made a law that is even banning you from even making the law more? So what do people are saying that the situation calls for a very serious sanction if possible. So what do you say about that?
Well, I'm not shocked, because I know that so many people in this country do not read. So, and then most of them in the National Assembly have even no competence, to be there. Most of them in that our National Assembly can't even read consistently for 5 minutes and understand. So you don't expect that you are going to put nothing and get something, So to that extent, I think, but what also bothers me is when people talk about this, their statutory delegates, as if some people, by virtue of being in public office, must vote in primaries. I don't understand the whole gamut of that mindset. Because this is a political space that you are playing a role. Must you vote in the primaries? Are there not other party members who can vote in this primary? This whole concept of statutory delegate, what made you statutory? Because you are elected in National Assembly to go and make law, then you become statutory. So I think Nigerians should actually resist that useless amendment coming up now. Those who are already provided for should be able to go there and do the voting. The National Assembly members mustn't vote. Because they are not the only people in the party. Democracy is about expansion of opportunities. So if by the grace of God, their names are omitted in the list of those who will vote, let it be. Let them not take this amendment of Electoral Act for a ride. It becomes an issue of our emotion. Because you are not there, you start running around. Let the other party members vote. They are also people in the polity. They are also stakeholders. Then they can now watch for the first time. Let them watch and see what others will decide. So I think that's a very lousy thing to drag us down now and for us to focus on. We need to focus on scrutinizing these candidates, look at their past, and know those who have the best potential to move Nigeria towards where we can be able to realize the potentials of the people, and towards what is needed really, which is the redevolution of power and restructuring of this country so that things will begin to work for our people. We have no time for all this lousy discussion about who will vote in primaries and who wouldn't vote in primaries. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Okay, finally, the president has ordered that all the political appointees who are nursing ambition to participate in politics should resign on or before Monday, the 16th of this month, and the Imo State governor has taken the same step by advising his own appointees, if you know you are interested in politics, resign before Monday. So this move, this is about the first time it's coming up. What does it portend in our democracy and our management process?
Yeah, what it means is that if you're interested in running for office, you should vacate the public office you're occupying by appointment and then concentrate on running for office, because you can't use public resources to sponsor your private interests in terms of running for those offices. And that's one of the very useful provisions in the new Electoral Act. And I'm happy that they have given them notice. And they should also know that this has a time implication, because if you also resign too close to the election, you are likely going to have issues, because if if you are lucky to win and your opponent proves that you didn't resign on time, that election itself will become invalid. So it's something that they need to critically work on, and I think it is good they have given them notice. And those who are interested in running should please leave those positions so that more serious-minded Nigerians can come and take over those positions while you concentrate on your political ambition.
Okay, Dr. Jude Ohanele, a soft talker, and the man that has it, his bullet was on his fingers. Thank you for being my guest today on 60 Minutes Live.
Thank you very much.
Okay, hello viewers over there. I appreciate you.
Viewers.
Thank you, believing that you believe in us. And now that politics is here, we want all those who are aspiring to come and tell the people why you should be the person to be voted for, why should your candidate be, why should your constituency be, because the issue of zoning does not only end at the federal, it ends even in communities, because I heard somewhere that MBK people says no third term, that's because an arrangement is made within the communities to have a peaceful a relationship within the communities, that when this community goes for 2 turns, this one goes for the second one. So come to 60 Minutes Live, come and tell us why your party should be the best party for 2023. But if you don't come, especially those in the Imo State of Assembly, we've not heard of them. We wonder what they will be doing. We wonder what they will say. We wonder, because if they don't come, we'll be able to review their activities within the past 4 years and find out whether they are worthy to come back as Imo State House of Assembly persons. So that'll be in subsequent programs of 60 Minutes Live. So far, on behalf of every staff in NTA Owerri and the technical crew, my name is Tony Mado. I say, God bless Nigeria.